So this is a man that obviously needs no introduction. If you don't know who he is, you probably haven't been on the internet or on Facebook ever. Tristan, I'm sure he'll do a better job telling you of all the things that he's doing, but runs Lab Code Agents. He's a consultant. Lab Code Agents is the biggest online group for real estate professionals. I mean, you guys have what now? 200,000, 150,000 people on that thing? 100,000? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Somewhere around there, buddy.
Over 100,000 people. It's huge. His influence is strong, and he's wicked smart and wicked sweet. One of my favorite people. The guy's just such a giver. And today he's going to talk to us about being omnipresent.
Rob, yeah, 133,000 in the Facebook group, and then we've got another 100,000 or so between the rest of the social outlets. And then we have an email list of about 250,000 as well. So
very nice.
It's pretty big.
So Amigos for Life, I'm going to take your question when Tristan's done, so we respect his time, but I will make sure we address it. Stay on to the end. I'm going to turn off my camera as soon as Tristan is ready and let him share his screen. You're sharing a screen, yes?
Yep. I got you, buddy. I got you. All right. So the first thing I want to touch on is the question of being everywhere at once. And it takes a team. So don't ever think that it's something that you can do on your own. Now, initially, let me just grab that. There you go. Initially, it's going to be something that you do start on your own and you outline. But I'm going to share with you something that in some cases can get a little overwhelming, but I'm going to do it anyway, just so you understand the plan here. All right. And in the chat box, let me know if you can see this. Just type in, I can see it, yes, things like that. So I can see that you can see this when I'm sharing it. Perfect. I got you. All right. So what I created over the last few days is this chart of our staff. So I'm currently running 3 multi-million-dollar companies, and they're all profitable. One of them is our real estate team out here, which is great. The other one is Lab Code Agents. And then this other consulting company that I started, where my first client by accident ended up being Facebook. And then it grew from there to other tech companies. And that one is extremely profitable. Now, the thing with that is I started having to create these teams, and I needed to leverage people and technology to give me this appearance of being everywhere so I can touch on the important points and target the right people, right? So I'm going to go over this really quick, and then I'll go over and I'll show you what you should be doing on social media just to break it down. But for me, for this specific process, I have one director of operations that handles the things for me, like just quarterbacks everything. This is the person that I talk to daily. We text all day, and I create a team around this talented person. Now, for the purpose of being omnipresent here, I have a couple of things. Number one, I have a marketing manager. That marketing manager is in charge of making sure that the ads are running right, our social media is running right, and we hire a social media manager so that they're handling, whatever it is that you want to do. If it's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, whatever. It could just be one. It could just be a whole. And you know what? You don't need to hire a social media manager. It could just be your marketing manager. But the point is, their job is to do all of this eventually. Ads, graphic design, content, newsletter, social media, and then PR, right? That's where I would start with that. Then you go up here. Video is the world that we live in today. Back in 2016, when I first started consulting Facebook, they brought me in. They're like, hey, Tristan, look, this is what we envision Facebook being in the next 4 years. And they literally took the whole screen and they showed me it was all video. The thing is, they knew it, but they didn't shift quick enough, because look what happened. TikTok took over and it became all video, right? So they had the right idea. They just didn't implement it and connect to the right audience fast enough. So I'm going to go back to that screen to show you. On the video side, you're definitely going to need somebody who is high caliber, who can start editing these items for you. and putting them out onto YouTube, working on the back end of Google AdSense to be able to then work on YouTube ads. And then they may need a video editor. I think these are important on its own outside of the marketing manager. This is if you're growing, right? I'm starting with this big thing so you can see, and then we're going to go micro. Next is director of technology. Here's a big challenge that we face as a company and as an individual agent. As you start growing, you start realizing that there's a lot of tech out there. And if you're like me and you have all this tech because you like buying stuff and then sometimes not knowing how to fully use it, right? Because you're like, oh, that looks cool, let me buy that. Well, what happens is you get this amazing CRM, but you don't take the time to fully engage into its full capabilities, right? And so what we found is having a director of tech allows us to be able to connect other things that we're using in the technology world, right? Whether it's through our video editor or marketing, whatever it is. This allows us to grow and use the tech wisely. So you can see they're in charge of UX, if we have it, web development, database upkeep, mining data from the internet. Like we have a lot of people that follow us on social, but they don't give us all their information. So what we do is we hire a VA team to go in and data mine. So this way we can get all that information from online because Zillow has all that info, right? So that's where I wanted to start. Then obviously you can do lead coordinator and concierge if you want to keep on growing that route. Now, I want to showcase where you would start if you're just trying to figure this out and you're like, well, Tristan, that's cool, but how do I do this on a micro level? Because that's my biggest challenge. Well, let me break it down for you. This is where you start. I've simplified this for you. I've simplified this for my team. I've simplified this for most salespeople so that they have a process. And the process is important because it touches on all of the aspects of social that you should be touching on to connect with people. Now, the very first one you see here is sell. And I have this acronym, it's stay. You want people to stay on your social media, right? And so sell, it's easy for agents to sell. Why? Because we're doing it all day. I mean, look, I just listed this. I just sold that. Check out my buyer, check out this. It's always having to do something with real estate, right? The challenge is that we sell without telling a story. And I'm going to go back to me. I'll go back to that screen and then I'll share it with you. The challenge is that we don't sell with a story. And when it comes down to it, you want to be able to engage with people. One of my friends, his name is Brandon Kane. He wrote the book, A Million Followers in 30 Days. And if you look it up, he was also the social media manager for Taylor Swift, for Katie Couric, and a few other amazing people. He just wrote a book called Hook Point. So take a look at that one. And it talks about having just 3 seconds to engage with people so you don't lose them at the very beginning. And the challenge is when you're coming across and just selling and saying, hey, I just listed, or I just sold, or check this out, my buyer said this about me, it becomes a challenge because people are jaded from seeing that online. And so you need to connect with people instantly and starting with a story. The idea behind you selling homes and you helping or representing buyers, there's a story behind that. Start with the story, right? If you know that there's an amazing feature on a home, start with that feature and why it's awesome for you, or why the sellers decided to move into this area. Like for me, when I do this, I try to hook at the very beginning. We just sold Matthew Perry's home in Malibu, so I lead with that. Hey, Matthew, we just sold a $13.1 million home. It's Matthew Perry's home. Check out how we did it, right? Easy, right? So look at the storyline. If it's a hook point on its own from the title, do that. Next, here, I'm going to just share this with you right here so you could just grab it in the chat. And let me know if you're able to open it so you can follow along with me. There you go. I need a yes if you're able to open it and a no if you're able to open it in the chat. So go ahead and do that while I open up my screen here. There we go. Done. All right, perfect. Thanks, Ryan. I got you. Clicked it open. Rob, thank you. All right, so going here, you see teach is the next one. Agents as a whole, and anybody in the sales world, they're great at what they do, but the challenge is we never translate that into actually teaching, right? And so here is where you have to take the opportunity and say, look, if we're focused on real estate, what are some processes that we're involved with on a daily, weekly, monthly basis that we can translate into a teaching opportunity? The first one that comes to mind for me is explaining an inspection, right? What do we look for? What are the 3 things we look for in a home inspection? Start numbering them. Like loan, when we get a loan, first time home buyer, what are the 2 things you need to look for at the very beginning? Selling your first home, what are the 5 things you need to look? See, now you're teaching and you're itemizing. This is an opportunity for us to come and connect with our audience as well in an educational form. And you see on TikTok, these do really, really well, right? And again, if you're going to go on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram and you start retargeting and growing, which we'll get into a little bit, that's the omnipresence through the video, because you take one piece, and I don't know if anybody's come on before me or is going to come after, but the ability to take one piece of content and break it down, if you do 3 things here, break it down into 1 each, and then segment those into reels, into stories, into IGTV, into YouTube, into Facebook, into TikTok, all of a sudden 1 piece became a whole bunch more, right? And we're not even talking about the written part of this. We're only talking about the video. Next is advice. Here is where I connect the most with people, because I try to bring in things that I absolutely love. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to stop sharing this, and I'm going to show you something, because I'm always testing out social, just so you can understand the psychology behind this. And I'm going to go to TikTok. I'm on almost every social outlet, but for this one, I want to go to TikTok so I can show you what I mean. There's a couple. There's one that I did. Perfect. Here it is. I'm going to share my screen with you, but before I want to premise it and tell you that the purpose of A, which is STAY, in sharing things that you're great at, the advice, is to connect with your audience. You're going to want to connect with your audience on things that you love doing, on things that you're great at, things that you can give advice on, things that make you human, and it allows the world out there to connect with you that way. And I think we look at it opposite. We're like, well, I want to let people know that I do real estate or that I do this and that. But the challenge is not everybody will connect with you there. Once everybody connects through this advice, through this fun thing that you do, through this hobby, then you allow the world to see the rest of what you do business-wise. So let me show you what I've been doing here on TikTok. Here, this one got 1 million views, and it's a pretty easy one. It's just me showing, let me see if I can play it without the sound. All right, here we go. It's just me connecting my iPhone to the Osmo 4, and you can see the analytics here. It got 1 million, it got 44,000 likes, 2,400 shares, most of them in the United States, and it was on the For You page. Now, when you look at things like that, you're like, wow, Tristan, now what the hell did you do with that? Then I pepper it in with other real estate related things or whatever it is that I want to do. And then I go over here and I find that just a few days ago, I got this one, 112,000. You look at the analytics, 12,000 likes, 420 shares, appeared on 98% of people's pages, right? They watched 19.2 seconds of it, but check out the hours, 600 hours. And it's all on stuff that I like. I mean, if I unmute this,
let's see it.
It's me just buying a Baby Yoda portrait.
Ooh, it's Grogu.
Right? So you can see it's the stuff that I love and enjoy doing that allows me to connect with my audience and then bring them into my world. That's the key to this. That's the key to social media and omnipresence. People want to be able to connect with you, but you're not letting them because you think, well, you need to be telling them about what you do in business. And it's not like that, right? And then the last one right here, which I'll show you, and then I'll share the calendar with you, is why? You. It's all about you. People follow you for you, right? What are you eating? Do you have a dog? What do they look like? Do you have kids? Do you have family? What is it that you do on a daily basis? Show them, bring them into your world, right? Have this be a continuation of A. And that's what I love doing. And that's where I get the most response on. It makes me human to the outside world so that then I can get a referral for Malibu for $10 million, right? Which has happened. And this is what allows me to be able to do that. So you have to start approaching it differently so that people can connect with you. And they're like, that Tristan guy's not that bad of a guy. He's not a jerk. And so this is what you have to start thinking like. And look, I took it further and I said, well, let's help my team. Because remember, I run a team here and I'm like, well, what can I do for my team besides doing this STAY thing? And I create a calendar every quarter, and we're in February right here. So February 11th, you can see right here. And it goes through the STAY, right? And you can see here today is the 11th on T. I'm saying, well, today we're going to teach, right? These are prompts. These are for you to follow, to be able to kind of prompt you and say, well, this is what you should be talking about, or let me at least help you get you in the right direction. You don't have to do it like this, but no, there it is. And then 12, you could do on tomorrow, right? Is advice. Share who your favorite president was. Why? Because President's Day is coming and Valentine's Day is here. So on Saturday, what are you doing for Valentine's? Do you like it or not? I'm prompting you. I'm helping you along the way. And I do that through this process called STAY. And you know what? Let me grab this calendar and dump it in here as well. Give me a sec. This way you guys can keep it. And you won't find this anywhere else unless you follow me on a Brilliant Tribe. Now, I just dumped it in there in the chat. Let me know if you can open this. So I'll wait a couple of seconds. I'll get some water right here. Victor, you could open it. Anybody else having problems? Sometimes people have problems. All right, Rob, you're consistently with a yes. I appreciate that. Opened. All right, so with that, I want to go in a little further on the calendar just to show you the sequences and the thinking behind it, just in case any of you think, well, what do you really mean, Tristan? Let's go into March, which is coming up. So you can use STAY to really do it in any platform. And it doesn't have to be only one a day on your personal. It can be, you can go through STAY the first 2 hours on literally on Instagram. You can go to your feed, you can go in stories, you can go on reels, and then you can go live and you can just alternate between all four. The idea is to have a balance, right? And I find that most people in business, even at the highest level, they don't fully understand that they have to have this balance approach, right? And if I wanted to focus on any of these, I would probably focus on advice in you the most. Because again, that's where you allow people to connect with you. Now let's go here. Monday is the 1st here, March 1st. Tell people what you're excited about or you're looking forward to this month. So for me, I'd probably start off and be like, well, look, I'm kind of excited and a little scared when it comes to real estate over the next few months because interest rates are super low and the market's getting hotter. I don't know about you, but I didn't expect prices to go up this much, right? And then I'd get into details. That's what I would do. Sell, spring's around the corner. What should we expect in your industry? Same thing. Teach an industry fact that people will love to hear. You know what? It's interesting on this, on the teaching part. A lot of people don't even know they can purchase with 3% down, and in some cases 0% down of their VA or USDA loan. And so that's important too. Advice, find the top news of the hobby you love. You know what I love? I love something called Sideshow. I don't know if you've ever taken a look at Sideshow, but I'm just going to take you to Sideshow right now to show you what it is. Not my cart, because then you'll be like, Tristan, that's too much crap you're wasting time on. So Sideshow is a place where you can pick up all this stuff. And if you see behind me, once I stop sharing my screen, you can, like this is a life-size figure of Baby Yoda, right? And that stuff excites me. I mean, look at, I've got a Stormtrooper helmet. I've got that TikTok painting right there. I got Chewbacca up there. And I mean, I'm just getting started. So this is where you can allow people to connect with you, right? And yeah, Tawanda, your husband would love that. I won't place the link there then because I'll get him in trouble. But yeah, see, the other thing I want to show you is I want to show you the process of being able to connect with people at the highest, most intimate level that allows them to feel like you're everywhere, right? Because you're penetrating through all of the noise. And it's something I call LCM. And I acronym everything because I typically forget, like, what was that? So LCM just means like, comment, message. And I'll show you what I do with it on Instagram really quick, how I'm able to connect deeply with people. So this is my Instagram. You can see the first person to pop up is Dean. Dean's a good friend of mine. He's awesome. I think everybody here knows Dean. So what I do is the very first thing, I pop up Instagram, whether it's on your phone or your computer, and you click like. So there's the L, right? Like. Next, I would comment. Now pay attention here. I'm only going to like and comment and message if I like the picture. I'm not going to force it on me. The last thing I want you to do is not be authentic or genuine in your approach because it matters, and I'll show you why. Let me just get more water here. All right, so now I've got this. I want to read a little bit. When some blah, 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 got it. He didn't specify as to where he's at. So my next thing is going to be a comment. Did you ever DJ? Right? Or I can ask the question, did you ever DJ? It has to do with the picture. I like Dean, so I know he's going to probably respond back. I'm going to post that next. I'm going to hover over his name, and then I'm going to message him. And then the message is going to be something along the lines of, pink looks good on you, buddy. There you go. And then I'm going to go back to Instagram, and I'm going to continue on that note, right? So next person is, oh, I know Michelle. Michelle's awesome. So I'm going to do the same thing. Heart, comment, message. Now, as you get going, what starts happening is I'm going to go to my messenger and Amit. So check out Amit. This is Amit. Amit had a hard time. He went to the hospital. He had some health issues, right? But he popped in my feed. He popped in my feed, and I'm like, dude, that sucks. So I said, what happened? And we went back and forth. We messaged each other, and I sent him a gift, right? He tags me. He posts it up. And it's all about breaking through that noise. Do you not think at this point that Amit is going to remember us? He's in a luxury market in Miami, right? I'm in a luxury market in Malibu, Calabasas, and Westlake. The point of social media is to make people feel special. And the only way you're going to penetrate through all the noise so that it makes people feel like you're everywhere is if you actually take the time to connect with them deeply. And it takes that like, comment, message to make them feel significant, because significance is one of the 6 basic human needs. And we have to have that. This is why social media is so, it makes people feel so connected, but at the same time, there's a lot of emotion going on there, right? Because they open up, people open up. And let me just see, Angie had a question. I love your video definitions. Can you share what equipment you're using? Yes, the equipment I'm using right now, let me throw it into, I get that question asked so often that I actually created a document for this. So let me just pop it in here. I'll throw in everything I use, including when I stream through on social. There you go. Everything is there. Now, you have to think a little bit more, and you're like, well, what am I doing on social? And am I approaching it the right way? And you think that this morning I had a meeting with the team and with our brokerage, and I'm like, I think the number one question you have to ask yourself in everything that you're doing, especially on social, because it can get so dangerous out there, is how do I want to make people feel? How do I want to make people feel when you connect with them, when you talk to them, when they read your posts, when they see your video, right? When you're like commenting, messaging. And I don't really think that we actually take the time to think about that fully. This is why you see the crappiest, weirdest stuff on social media, right? Like, I don't think more than half the people out there really thought about what they were posting and saying, well, how do I want to make people feel today? And I think that's important there for you. So as you take all of the things that I'm showing you, whether it's the calendar or the process or anything along those lines, I really need you to start thinking about how it is that you want to make people feel. And then I have one last piece for you, which may bring up more questions because it's a little bit deep here. Let me grab it. I'll probably post it up here as well. Let me just, there it is. I have a simpler one of this one too. So let me just grab the link and share it. Now this one is my team's video content planner. This is kind of how we plan it out. If it's a little confusing to you, I'm going to explain. I'm going to drop it in there first. So again, let me know if you can open it, and then I'm going to share it over here. So just put in the chat box. I'm just going to pick on one person because they're so quick. Rob, just let me know if you can open it. Okay. I'll wait for you, Rob. All right. Gotcha. Thanks. Tawanda, thank you. I got you. All right. Here we go. So you see here, I call this our video content planner. And I have Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, because those are the ones that I gravitate to. Now, Instagram, I put the days and the times that are ideal to post according to the research that was done. And so this is why you have these on the left, right? Days, times. Now, if you don't want to use this to say, well, Monday and Tuesday, I'm going to be posting to, let's say, YouTube or wherever, then you could just skip down here and use these as the ability to create and hold ideas in one place so you don't lose them, right? You can literally just print this page out and use this page alone. And the idea behind this is saying, okay, well, let's think about this. What date would I like to publish this, right? Let's say I probably want to publish this. What are we in? Today's Thursday. I want to probably publish this, what I'm going to take you through, on Monday. So Monday. Is it going to be a short video? Is it going to be a long video? Well, to me, short video is 60 seconds or less. A long video is going to be something that's longer than that. Usually IGTV, sometimes Facebook, and always YouTube. So let's go with long video, right? Now, what's the title or the description? Usually I come up with a description first, and then I title it. So my description for this one is probably going to be on how my virtual assistant helps out with our social media, specifically Instagram and maybe a little bit of YouTube, just to show that I'm able to delegate well and leverage them and how I can automate that, right? So, and then the hashtags I'm going to use. And then I can do the same thing over here. Now, the idea behind this is to keep it all in one place. The second page is exactly the same as this one. But the idea behind this is to be able to keep it in one place, because a lot of the times we have these amazing ideas and then we don't do anything with them. This allows you to formulate them a little bit more and say, got it, I'm going to take it to that next level so that I can actually publish it and make it real, right? So that's all I've got for you. I wanted to keep it to about 30 minutes. Any questions, any comments? Let me bring up.
All right, dude, that was a great presentation, Tristan. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, bro. Thanks for being on.
Of course. So if anybody has any questions for the legend himself, go ahead and throw them in the comment box. He obviously went way above and beyond by giving you guys all those resources. Thank you for doing that, Tristan. Any questions for Tristan before we let him go sell another $10 million house to another celebrity?
We're close. We'll see.
Awesome.
Thanks, man. Appreciate
Hey,
it. Ahumada, thank
appreciate you.
Alexandra, thank you guys. Thanks for having me, Sam.
All right. Well, friends, that brings us to the end of the show. Again, we should be putting everything into the Facebook group. Yesterday, we had a little technical difficulty and the sessions weren't recorded yesterday. So those are going to get re-recorded and put in there as well, just so that you have them. But I think day one has already been uploaded and put in there as individual videos. All the resources, the slides will be added as well. Corey is having those scripts uploaded that someone asked for. So that should all be there. There was a question that came right before Tristan started from Amigos for Life. How do you manage so many operations all at once? How do you delegate the responsibilities? So very similar to like what Tristan said, we have our, director of operations, as he calls it. Ours is the VP of our holding company. And he's kind of like the quarterback amongst all the different businesses. But what's important is almost all of our additional businesses have an operating partner. So like I explained in escrow, those guys that run their own escrow company, but they run ours. So we always have strong operating partners. In an ideal scenario, we don't want to own, it's nice to own 100% of the company, but we would rather own less than 100%, so that we can bring in good operators or keep the operator that's there or whatever it may be. And then lastly, I'll say that, there's weekly check-ins, there's a scorecard. Everybody has to kind of like talk about what they completed. That goes to Corey, and Corey will send it up higher if he needs to. So it's all about good people, good team members, and that's why Oliver's presentation on hiring the right people, I think is so instrumental to everyone's success. So hopefully that answers your question. If you have any other questions on anything from the past couple of days, now is your time. I'll finish with thank you. This was fun. Really enjoyed the interaction and appreciate you guys taking the time. One last shout out for Suite Assist. I know a handful of you have already requested demos, but I promise you that you're making a mistake if you don't at least check it out. You need transaction management. You need ancillary services. You need a lot of the things that offers. So go check out suiteassist.com, schedule a demo, learn more. If you do sign up within the next 2 weeks, 14 days from tomorrow, you're going to get a free video production by Mike Cuevas, the real estate marketing dude. And you also get a free coaching session with any 2 speakers. So go ahead and take advantage of that. And I think that's it. If there's anything that any of us can do to help, find us on social. We'll probably do another one of these again in a few months. So if there is no other questions, if there is, say coming soon and I'll wait. But if not, we're going to wrap this thing up. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for a great 3 days. Hope you got a ton of value. Thank you for the kind words. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.